Good evening, family. This is Stan Matthews on the Matthews broadcast on this Wednesday, the 14th of December, 2016. I am so happy to be back with you again. The greatest audience in all of music or television land, the most wise audience, the most informed audience, and I am just so happy to be able to just be your servant and bring you positive information about the community, positive information about the country at large, positive information that allows you to empower yourself financially, socially, politically, and otherwise. And boy, do we have much to discuss this evening as we get going here in the Matthews broadcast. As we always do, we remind you that you are a world changer. But nothing changes world changer unless you change it. So it's your obligation to take those unique gifts and talents that you were created with and put them to use for the betterment of all of society. And so we want you to be passionate about what you do. We want you to be enthusiastic about what you do and know that no one, but no one, can make the contribution that you do to making a better, more beautiful, and bright world. Um, our poet laureate, Maya Angelou, always shared with us that people will forget what you said, they will forget what you did, but they will never, ever forget how you made them feel. So place a premium on making the next person feel loved, respected, honored, and otherwise. And remember that as we seek wealth, as we seek real wealth, that concept, wealth, are related to financial things, but it's also related to those fruit of the spirit, those things that money can't buy. So some of wealth is hope, some of wealth is love, respect, honor, those things that are fruit of the spirit, those things are character wealth. And so as you get wealth, seek those things as well as financial wealth. Now, that does not mean that we don't need financial resources. That doesn't mean that we don't need money, as the OJs were just reminding us. But that money should be for the purpose of making a better society, for the purpose of making a better family, for the purpose of making a better nation. So we want you to be as wealthy as you possibly can, but we want you to make sure that you make a contribution back into what we call our community. This broadcast has one and one mission only, and that is to be a tool of empowerment for urban communities and empowerment on a political, empowerment in a social context, empowerment in a financial context. We created this broadcast to be your platform, to give you the ability to project power in the world. And to do so, we share this platform with you on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday evenings. Want to share some community news with you. Last night was a special broadcast in which we talked about visiting with the board of directors at New Jersey Transit, this state's transportation authority, demanding justice for one Russell Grady, also known here in Patterson as Mr. G. Well, more than 30 of us came from Plainfield, came from East Orange, came from Elizabeth, came from Patterson to the New Jersey Transit Board meeting today and did exactly what we said we were going to do yesterday. We demanded that New Jersey Transit make Russell Grady whole for what they took from him, which was his business, Atlantic City Souvenirs and Snacks, and to compensate him for what was done. I want to thank some very special people that were with us today that made a change in Newark today at One Penn Plaza East. A positive change, because I believe that there is a victory forthcoming in this struggle that has lasted now more than 14 years for Mr. G. And so I want to say thank you, heartfelt thanks for the powerful leadership of everyone that came today. But most particularly, I want to say thank you to Miss Jamie Bland, the Patterson National Action Network Director. I want to say thank you to Salam Ismail, the Elizabeth National Action Network Director, who is also the Managing Director of the United Youth Council nationally. I want to say thank you to our very own Ernest Rucker, the chairman of the Save the Village Patterson nonprofit. I want to say thank you to Tony Mack, the owner of several McDonald's franchises in Atlantic County and Mr. G's great friend. I want to say thank you to Miss Betty Peterson, who is a retired educator here in Patterson, whose grace and eloquence just shut everything down today as she reminded the New Jersey Transit Board of Commissioners to do the right thing. For Mr. G, I want to thank Miss Lisa Thompson for her contribution today in taking the moral and spiritual high ground and reminding the New Jersey Transit Commissioners that karma is a real principle and a real law, and so they should think long and hard about the decision that they were going to make today to right the wrong with Mr. G. I certainly want to thank Dr. Chris Bowen, Mr. G's son-in-law, for being with us today. I want to thank Mr. Mallory Earl of Dreams Unlimited for being with us today. I want to thank the former executive director of NAACP in New Jersey, Mr. James Harris, for being there and bringing a civil rights perspective to what was happening with New Jersey Transit and reminding them that New Jersey Transit Corporation is a public entity and not a plantation for white boys living up north. And so James brought it home today, and he really shook some folks up with his description of New Jersey Transit. So I want to thank James for his bold words. I want to thank First Ward Councilman Michael Jackson for his eloquence, for his analytical analysis of how New Jersey Transit has mistreated the Patterson community, for the fire that he brought today. Councilman Jackson, thank you so much. I want to thank Council President Bill McCoy for sending letters of support. I want to thank Assemblyman Benji Wimberly for doing the same, and I want to thank Assemblywoman Shavonda Sumter also for doing the same, as well as Congressman Bill Pascrell. Last but not least, I want to say thank you to Mr. Russell Grady. Mr. G, you are my friend, you're my mentor, you're my buddy. We are two kindred spirits, and we like long drives to talk about life, to talk about many different things, politics, economics. I want to thank you for allowing me to come along on this journey with you to help you get redress for the grievances that you suffered. I want to thank you for being a role model, for being strong for 14 years. I don't know many people of any color that could withstood the loss of $1 million taken from them and still be standing in the aftermath as strong as you stand. When I grow up, I want to be just like you, Mr. G. So thank you so much for allowing me to represent you, allowing me to defend you, allowing me to claim your rights. It was a labor of love, and we will continue to do it as long as we possibly can until we get victory. So that is our community news. You will be hearing much more. The Associated Press will be coming to Patterson tomorrow. The News 12 New Jersey will be here on Monday. Fox News, of all people, will be here on Monday, and Eyewitness News New Jersey will be here on Tuesday, all coming to Patterson to follow up on this story as they all try and get, what do they call that, James? The scoop on the fight of this 85-year-old civil rights and economic giant that has his restaurant here in Patterson. So Pattersonians, you're going to be seeing some trucks with some TV cameras pulling up by Mr. G's frequently over the next couple of months. Get real comfortable with it because we're not done yet. We're going to push them as hard as we can, and we thank you so much in advance for supporting him and making our city proud. I'm joined in studio this evening with a great friend, long time, who has helped me in my professional career, which now spans 28 years. I first met him the second year I was in business. My partners and I, fortunately, were able to grow a company called 504 Express Courier to be the largest black-owned courier on the entire East Coast. We had almost 62 drivers working for us between New York and Washington, D.C., and we needed to get some software done so that we would be able to put the orders in for our deliveries. And James Holloway, as well as another friend of mine who is in film now, helped us put that together, and we were able to use the technology at that time to grow our firm. And we're indebted, happy to have him as a friend over all of these decades. And I think that as we build this media brand called the Matthews Broadcast, that I would feel so blessed to have him along for the ride, and you'll be seeing some new things, some better things as we grow this broadcast. We're being asked now to be in communities across this region from New York City to Philadelphia, as other communities say yes, they want to be on the inner circle. Yes, they want to join with the Urban Business Association. Yes, they want to join with the Matthews Broadcast to bring a message of empowerment. We've been invited to come down and do a live broadcast from Willingboro, New Jersey. We've been invited down to do a live broadcast in Atlantic City. We've been invited down to do a live broadcast in Plainfield. So Brother James is going to help us do that by lending his talent in media, his talent in radio and television, so that we can get out there and be mobile and still be strong here in the studio. So I want to welcome him to the broadcast. Good to see you, James.
Well, good to see you too. Wow, man, you got a lot on your plate here, man, but it's all good. I'm looking at the studio. It's beautiful. It's a good thing happening.
Absolutely.
I'm so glad to be with you.
Look, I'm glad to have you, man, and I would just say this: the requests that are coming in, they're coming in as a consequence of not what we are doing, but what the community is feeling.
Okay.
I think given the administration that's coming into lead the nation on January 21st, the community is already feeling it necessary to be more unified now than ever.
Sure.
I think there's a spirit in the air that we need to lock arms and hold on to each other. And we need to build independently so that regardless of what comes into the quote-unquote White House, that we're going to be all right. So, I'm glad to get out there with the people and share the message that we share here on this air on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday at GEMS Radio and TV and at 91.7. So let me ask you specifically about your company, Future Ops Media. Tell me a little bit about the company. What is the unique value that Future Ops Media brings to the table?
Well, the unique value of Future Ops Media, PE, is all about the community and the communities that surround it, in terms of doing business, interfacing, in terms of how we generate possibilities for what we all bring to the table, and how we all relate to what we do on an everyday basis. It's just a stimulator, if you will. Sure.
Keep going.
Yeah. So, what we're looking to do in this time frame, tonight in particular, is just communicate that it's all about us. You mentioned something earlier. I just got to throw it in here about Mr. Donald Trump coming in to be the president of this country, and it's a beautiful thing at this time. Believe it or not, a lot of people are saying, "Well, no, we don't need this extreme." But perhaps we do need an extreme in a certain way of looking at things so that we can wake up. Okay? So that we can respond in kind and for our own efforts, because it's time. But getting back to the company, what we do...
Well, my grandfather often quoted the Bible, said, iron sharpeneth iron.
That's true.
So if we listen to what we heard on the campaign
Right.
trail, we're gonna get some iron.
So true, so true. Yeah, yeah. So one of the things that as we move ahead with what Future Ops Media offers is that we conduct interviews. We do programs that relate to where you are in your consciousness, where you are on a business level, and how we can all really come together and really kind of deposit into this deep well of opportunity what we know that we have without asking someone. You know, and we're looking for those of us who are endeavoring to get their names known, get their positions known in terms of the good side of things, because that's what we want to talk about. We want to communicate the good side. What is in store for us that we can give to us and then share with the world.
That's right, and so that dovetails nicely, with the mission of the broadcast. I was in a conversation in which a colleague of ours in media was telling me that I wasn't keeping it real with the community, that we would we were soft selling things, that we need to talk about some of the things that are not. That we're not proud of in the community, and I was very clear with him. As a 52-year-old African American, James, I know exactly what happens in some of our urban communities. I know about everything that goes on in our communities that's negative. What the position of the Matthews broadcast is that major media spends more than enough time talking about what is wrong with urban communities. We want to focus on what was right with urban communities. Doesn't mean that we don't know it's there. Exactly. We know what's out there. The 6 o'clock and the 11 o'clock and the 9 a.m. news is filled with things that are wrong with urban communities. We wanted to use the time that we have here and now to encourage, to inspire, and to shine light on the goodness and greatness of urban New Jersey, New York, and the Philadelphia area. That is our purpose. It's not that we're trying to hide from anything. We just want to make sure that we have an equal focus on those things that are good and great about us. Tell me who Future Ops Media would consider a good referral or a good client that someone could refer to help your business.
Well, we are looking and thinking in terms of the business person, as I mentioned, the ordinary person, because in this time of media where we're streaming, where there's satellite, there's radio, there's podcasting, people want to be heard in whatever mediums that are out there or available to us. So now we have them. So I'm looking for that client and that customer who really wants to interface with the communities that they serve.
Right.
Who really wants to give a genuine spiritual uplift, if you will. And it's not about having what we call the correct language, if you will. We're media people, so we know what we have to do behind the mic, so forth and so on.
That's right.
If you have something to say, we want to allow for the platform to render that to folks. That's
absolutely. That is an awesome goal. There is there's a finite time that we get to sit behind these microphones and in front of these cameras. And so we have to be selective. We have to make choices, and those choices have to be choices, as best as we can, to provide empowerment, enrichment, upliftment to whoever we're connected with. And so, I welcome those thoughts. I welcome that intent in terms of what Future Ops Media does. Any special thing that you want to share with the community?
A couple of things. We haven't had a chance. Well, we actually did talk about it off mic, but I just want to kind of present a couple of things that I've been kind of looking at. And this is related to the millennial market, if you will. There has been a group of statistics that has come down the pipe related to how they spend their money, and we're talking about the black millennials in particular. And right now, to date, 2016, we're looking at $162 billion that the black millennials are spending into the U.S. economy. Also, let's put right next to that, in 2015, the African American community was spending We're looking
1.2
1.2
trillion.
to 1.5 million dollars. That's a lot of money for it not to circulate back to us in some kind of way. If we had a smidgen, as people would say on the street, of that money back to ourselves, what we could do to provide jobs, build careers, build communities, because that's what we want to do.
Well, that's what every community uses to do economic development.
Absolutely.
Banks lend the savings of people out in loans.
Yes.
Banks invest in businesses out of the reserves of those who have more than they need. So it is only from your reserves that you make an additional investment.
That's true.
Right? And so, again, a community that spends $1.2 trillion, if we just made it a priority to hold on to 10% of that, that's $112 billion. That could be invested in any way that we want, and that's one of the things that we are focused here on. USA Today newspaper had an article that last year African Americans spent during the holidays $182 billion in the 30 days from November the 25th, Black Friday, to December the 24th, Christmas Eve. $182 billion. They're projected to spend $212 billion on gifts this holiday season. So I've been saying on these airwaves, let's make it a priority here in New Jersey to spend 10% of whatever that portion is here in New Jersey with each other. We could absorb the unemployment that we find in our communities. We could improve the school districts in our communities, more investment in new equipment, in books and computers for our children. On and on and on. All of the possibilities are there if we just spend money with businesses in our community and professionals in our community.
And see, that's what Future Ops Media is really all about. That great interface with all of what we do in the ways that we do. Monday through Sunday, Future Ops Media is here to serve the not just buying public, but to serve us in what we are looking to anchor into the communities. We often talk about the African American church. We often talk about the mosque and the temple, great institutions for the services that they render. Can you imagine if we really, despite what our denominations and our feelings and our and distancing that we have, to really employ that energy into this gumbo, if you will, of an opportunity?
Well, I lay that one at the feet of the leadership in political and spiritual institutions, because they're before our people. They have the ear of our people, and they, like us in the media, have got to make better choices with how they direct our people, because our people do listen to them. Listen, we're going to continue here in the Matthews broadcast. Stay with us. We're just going to take a break with our friend James Holloway here, and we're going to come right back to keep this conversation going. Stay with us. Back in the Matthews broadcast, this is Stan Matthews here at 91.7 FM. Streaming worldwide on gemsradio.net. That's www.gemsradio.net. And right now we know we have an audience on the Facebook live stream. On Facebook at the gemsradio.net Facebook page. We're going to continue our discussion with the CEO of Future Ops Media, Mr. James Holloway, and we are joined in studio by Ms. Brenda Toyle, who is also known as the Tap Water Doctor. So we are glad to have her here. As we go forward this evening, I just want you to bear in mind, again, we are responsible for the choices that we make with our hard-earned dollars. As James and I were saying before we went to the break, that we ask you to invest with professionals and business owners in your community so that you can make sure that those dollars circulate many, many times in our community and is there to build and to develop the community. So, Brenda, I want to welcome you this evening, and I want you to tell us a little bit about your business.
Okay, hi Stan, thank you for having me.
Glad to have you.
Okay, there's a unique value with Tap Water Doctor, and that unique value is the fact that we only market water filtration systems that are certified through the NSF International.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and also I market Enagic ionizers. So we have multi-pure drinking water systems and Enagic ionizers. And the Enagic ionizers are actually medical devices licensed in Japan. And they provide they change the water. Once that water is filtered, it changes the water into 5 different types of water. An alkaline water with a pH of 8.5, a 9.0, and a 9.5. Then we have a clean water, a beauty water, a strong Kangen water, and a strong acidic water that is utilized for wound care. So let me just talk a little bit about MultiPure. MultiPure also provides a triple warranty for the systems that are sold. We have the whole house systems, countertop systems, under the counter systems, and inline drinking water systems. Those systems are NSF certified to reduce up to 86 plus contaminants. Now, we all heard of the new contaminants that have been unveiled, lead specifically since Flint, Michigan, and a lot of systems that are out there, they have wonderful commercials.
Mm-hmm.
However, they are not certified. And so a lot of times those systems do not take out the lead that's in the water or the other contaminants that are in the water. And so that's a big problem. You have a great commercial going on, but your systems have not been vigorously tested nor certified to actually take out what the manufacturer is saying should come out. So that's the uniqueness of Tap Water Doctor. We do not provide or promote systems that have not been tested vigorously and certified through NSF. Now, NSF, that company was established 26 years prior to the Environmental Protection Agency. And their purpose is to protect human health on a global basis. And so regulators and manufacturers and consumers look to NSF to establish and develop public health standards and certifications that ensure the protection of food, the protection of water, protection of consumers' goods, and the environment, which is key.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome. What types of business are the best referrals for you?
The best types of businesses that are good for me are, I often think about our children with the lead. Lead just didn't just appear in the water. It's been there for a long period of time. It's just now being unveiled. Children 5 years and under, their immune systems are not developed. So for me, it's very important. Preschools are very important for me. HIV housing, senior housing, senior citizens 55 and older. Once you hit 55, your immune system begins to wane. And so all of the contaminants that's in the water, I'll take, for instance, cysts. There's a lot of cysts in the water. And cysts chlorine has no effect on it. It's resistant to chlorine, so it's in the water. If you're not utilizing a point of use system or a point of entry system that's actually certified to take out the host of contaminants, there's actually 90 contaminants that's regulated by the Environmental Protection Agency. I couldn't tell you how many are unregulated, and they have a list. You go on EPA.gov, there's a huge list that tells you what's in the water, where it came from, where the contaminant came from, and also what it'll do to the organs in your body.
All right.
Oh, yeah, it's online. So the information is there, but they won't.
All right, so make note of that. We got the Tap Water Doctor, and she's telling you that the water is unsafe, but she's also telling you there's tools available to us that Brenda provides that can be very helpful to us. Brenda, how do people get in contact with you?
You can get in contact with me by calling 973-856-6951. If you want to text me, you text me on my cell as 917-583-7092. You can email me at brenda@tapwaterdoctor.com. And I have a website. MyTapWaterDoctor.com is for multi-pure drinking water systems. You want to make sure that that water is filtered. And if you want to purchase an ionizer, which the two of them together, once you combine the multi-pure drinking water system with the Enagic ionizer, it is going to activate your innate ability, your body's innate ability to heal itself. And so once you do that, you're good to go. So that's why I sell the two, because there is a perfect marriage.
Hear that? I hear that. James, how do we get in contact with Future Ops Media?
Sure. You can contact me at area code 908-422-9443. That's my cell. And Future Ops Media PE
At gmail.com. All right. One more time, James. How do we get in contact
they
with
didn't
you?
get me, right? Okay. Yeah, you can contact me at Future Ops Media PE at gmail.com. And by telephone or cell, I should say, area code 908-422-9443.
All right, we're going to go to one more break, and then we come back and close our last segment out. We're going to Brenda here. We're going to make a slight change of pace and bring in Miss Kim Falk, who is with Community Real Estate Investments. So we'll be right back here in the Matthews broadcast. Stan Matthews back in the broadcast. We are joined in studio with Kim Falk of Community Real Estate Investors, and we are continuing with Brenda Toiloy, the tap water doctor. And I want to say good evening to my good friend Kim, who is going to help us to understand how to invest collectively in real estate, so that we can own more of the properties in the communities that we live in. Right here in Paterson, New Jersey, 62% of all of the residents, almost 83,000 people, are renters. Only 38% of the people in this community own. And I don't think that other urban communities are much different. So we're glad for Kim and the work that she and her husband Maurice are doing. We look forward to learning how we can do that collectively, especially as we move into the season beyond Christmas, which is the 7 days of Kwanzaa. We all know the principle of cooperative economics, Ujamaa. So I think that Kim and Maurice applying Ujamaa to the world of real estate is going to be something that we all benefit from. Good evening, Kim.
Yes, good evening, Stan. How are you?
I am good. I'm glad that you're here with us. And please share for us some of the ideas, some of the projects that you guys are working on that you may want to share with us down the line.
Okay. Well, first of all, we're basically in the beginning. It's just basically buying up properties that were, in foreclosure or just abandoned. And we're getting those properties and fixing them up for resale. A lot of other properties later on down the line, we're going to be purchasing to be able to fix up and rent out in the community. Those houses that you see abandoned or boarded up in your community, not only it doesn't look great, but it brings down the value of the community. So, the more of those houses that are purchased and built up,
absolutely,
can also build up the community. So that's what we're looking forward to do. And, a lot of people say, well, they don't have money, but you have money to rent.
That's right.
That money, if you take a little bit more time and think about and budget a little bit more, a little better than what we're doing, then you can buy your own home. It's not that difficult.
Absolutely.
It's about planning. It's about building and purchasing and being able to budget and utilize the money that you do have. I know a lot of people who purchase homes just by using one or two credit cards. And I'm sure a lot of us have credit cards. You know, so if you just take the foot, you have to have knowledge, you know, the know-how. Once you have the knowledge, then you can be able to use your resource and be able to purchase that home that you have. Because in the long run, it's gonna work out for you. Owning a home is not just owning a home, as I indicated before. It's about building. It's about longevity, and it's about making a difference for you and your family.
And this is the primary investment of any family.
Yes.
Is their home. Speaking of which, we're talking about families. Brenda, tell me, what is the system that you would recommend to, say, like a family of four who just wanted to improve the quality of the drinking water in the house?
Well, I have two systems, and so two of the systems that I recommend for New Jerseyans, and one is the Aqua Perform. That system, when utilized with a capacity monitor, will produce 960 gallons of water. Okay? If you're a single person or two people in a house, you can utilize that one filter for a year and a half. Now, that filter will get out the arsenic, asbestos, MTBEs, which is ether, gasoline based, ethers, PCBs. You got so much in the water. You got your heavy metals in the water, your pharmaceuticals, your pesticides in the water. So it's going to get out all of that. You can get it on top of the counter. You can get it below the counter. And you can get it in line. So if you want to make sure that your water is cleansed, get yourself a good NSF certified multi-pure drinking water system. And believe me, you will taste the difference and feel the difference.
Got it from the tap water doctor. It almost make me feel better about drinking soda right now. Because I'm a Pepsi demon.
Well, you know, the problem today is that people are drinking bottled waters, and they forget that the plastic bottle was made in a petrochemical plant, and the plasticizers that are in that bottle leach into the water, whether the water is cold or hot. And you don't know how long that water's been sitting in the bottle now, do you?
No, absolutely you do not.
You don't know.
You do
and so I always say, well, what do you call water that's not moving?
Dead.
Dead, stagnant water.
That's right. That's right. That's right. I know that you guys are glad that we have Brenda here, but I tell you what, I know a lot of folk out there scared right now. Kim, give me some contact information if people want to find out what you guys have in store in community real estate investors.
Well, we can be reached at 201-285-9192. That's our telephone number. Or our email address is falkm1970@aol.com.
One more time.
That's falkm1970@aol.com.
All right, good stuff for the new year coming up. I'm so proud of what and so excited about what you and Maurice are doing. So stay tuned, folks. We're going to have a broadcast that's just going to be about real estate projects that we're going to be bringing forward. Everything from tax liens to buying city-owned property. We have reached agreements with the 7 largest cities in the state of New Jersey who have huge urban populations, everything from Atlantic City, Camden, Plainfield, Trenton, Newark, Jersey City, Patterson, all want to find ways that they can partner with us. I know that the chairman of the Urban Business Association, Jerry Moultrie, and the real estate lawyer Tracy Davis are right now working on a way to package that, bring that all together.
Yes.
So with your leadership and your contributions, Kim, we look forward to that. Brenda, one more time,
Okay.
how we can get in contact with you.
You can get in contact with me by calling 973-856-6951, or you could text me 917-583-7092. Email me at brenda@tapwaterdoctor.com. And my website, I have 2, one for Multipure, mytapwaterdoctor.com, and for the ionizers, tapwaterdoctor.com.
We heard a lot this evening, a lot of good stuff this evening. I'm going to be sitting down with Brenda myself, looking at get some of that stuff that she talked about in my own home. I don't know. I don't know if we can wipe it all out, but we're going to try.
Well, the thing is, you want to upgrade your kitchen and your bathrooms.
Okay.
It's time.
Mm-hmm.
So this is an excellent opportunity to actually dominate the market with the best systems that are available today.
Well, and we're happy to have you as our nature coach, because I know you're going to do it right and make sure we know all of those things that could harm us, and that is a great resource to have. Again, the Matthews broadcast is a broadcast dedicated to the empowerment of urban communities on a social, political, and economic level, and people like Kim and Brenda help us do that. We want to thank both of you so much, but more than that, we want to thank all of you in our listening audience. You make doing this broadcast a joy and not a task. Remember, there are two types of people in the world: dreamers like you and dream killers. Embrace the first and run like heck from the second. Until next Monday, this is Stan Matthews with my friends Brenda Toyloy, the Tap Water Doctor, and Kim Falk of Community Real Estate Partners, saying good night and God bless.